What emotions and thoughts occur when we say the phrase Black Lives Matter? Have you heard about it? Have you taken the time to educate yourselves about the oppression of the African American people? We are from the class of English 3, Class A, Persuasive speaking. We are from Group 1, which consists of myself, Gabriella, Immanuel, and Ndoen, who will be doing the first part of the speech, and also Diva Amelia, who will be continuing with the second part of the speech. We're going to be talking about the pressing matters of the Black Lives Matter movement, their background, and why we should fully support and constantly be educated about the inequality that is currently happening around us. According to Alicia Garza in her article, Her Story of the Black Lives Matter movement, she defined that Black Lives Matter is an ideological and political intervention in a world where Black lives are systematically and intentionally targeted for demise. This is an affirmation of Black folks' contribution to the society, our humanity, and our resilience in the face of deadly oppression. The Black Lives Matter, or BLM movement, was originally founded back in 2013 due to the unjust actions of the American judicial system regarding the case of Trayvon Martin, an African American teen who was a victim in a shooting done by George Zimmerman, who was not found guilty for his actions. The BLM movement focuses on seeking justice regarding the extensive issues of racial profiling, police brutality, and institutional racism that is deemed as normal in the United States society. The main cause of last year's uproar in the Black community, as well as the supporting community, was the case back in May 25th of 2020. An African American man by the name of George Floyd was killed in a horrific manner by a Caucasian or white-skinned police officer who abused his authoritative power by using extensive force to kneel on his neck whilst being held down by other Caucasian police officers, even though George Floyd shown no signs of resistance to that arrest. A bystander managed to get the hate crime by the policeman on camera, which showed the true horror of what Black people have been experiencing throughout the entire country. Not only Black people, but this also represents the fear in other people of color as well. A quote by Dr. Oxiris Barbot in her article George Floyd and Our Collective Moral Injury stated that we've been here before with countless Black men and women whose lives were taken by those who wielded unearned power over them. This quote is a small representation of the oppression of Black people, but it holds such a terrible truth. Why must a modern society like today still have an issue with race? Why does the concept of white supremacy still exist in our society? And why are people so entitled to be above others only because of their skin color? Why must a group of people fight day by day, day after day, night by night just to feel safe? On March 13, 2020, Breonna Taylor sadly had to experience a fatal shooting while she was sleeping in her apartment due to a botched raid by police officers in Louisville. The police managed to do such a tremendous error, but due to them being white-skinned, they are still not held accountable to this day. This shows that Black people aren't safe in their own homes and white people have an insane amount of privilege.
According to a statistical analysis made by the United States Department of Justice, the FBI reports that 52.4% of hate crimes offenders were white, followed by Black people by 23.9% and other races by 14.6%. This is a statistical fact that white people participate in more hate crimes than any other race. But people of color, especially blacks, are negatively portrayed within the media, whilst white people have a long history of being favored by the media. Because our society is so tied to social media, we can find many people raising other cases of black people who are treated as if they don't have equal rights. We can see so many cases where African American people get judged unfairly and have to go to prison. Even though they didn't do the crimes they were charged with, they have to plead guilty, even to the point where someone has to be sentenced to death. But why, when white people do even more heinous things and are proven guilty, the majority of the punishment are not comparable to those of black people? White Americans only get a few months of jail at most, and some aren't even charged with anything. These are only a few examples of black people and other people of color have been experienced due to a lack of empathy from the privilege of white folk. People are actively, restlessly, and constantly working to improve not only the situation of black people today, but to bring equality to future generations of people of color. This is the 21st century. Why haven't we moved past the concept of racism? Is humanity too shallow to respect others, even if they are different from us? Now let's move on to the conclusion. We are all part of human race. The difference in our skin color, our beliefs, our countries shouldn't matter in terms of our equal rights. The Black Lives Matter movement is something that needs to exist in our society. The BLM movement could and will impact the lives of those that have been treated unjustly within police custody, or to those who have lost a loved one due to a corrupt police department. The BLM movement has brought light to the dark reality that the phrase "protect and serve all mankind with an exception." The Black Lives Matter movement cannot not and will not die out. This movement will continue if there is a black man, woman, boy, or girl in danger of the justice system that consistently tries to wrongfully treat them. As humans with conscience, we must remember this. As a part of human beings, we must provide equal rights to those who have differences with us. Not only differences in our skin color, but also our beliefs, nationality, and etc. By doing this, I'm sure our world will become a more peaceful and safer place for all humankind. Maybe that's it from our group. Thank you.